video. Those of you that are new to my channel, hi, my name is Maria, and today I'm going to be trying out the new Dior foundation. It is the Forever Natural Nude foundation, and I wasn't too sure about this at first because I thought with oily skin it may not go on too well, but I actually have already been wearing this for 3 days and I really like it. But it is cooler here now in New Zealand and it's autumn, so I'm not sure whether this foundation, if you have oily skin, would be okay in the summer. I've also, when I've been using this foundation, I've been using it with a brush only. So today when I test it, I'm going to use a brush on the left side of my face and I'm going to use a beauty blender on the right side of my face. I also have a new primer. So if you've seen my other videos, you would have seen that I always have used the Hourglass Veil Mineral Primer. But I just recently bought a Tatcha primer. So I'm going to use the Hourglass Veil Primer on my left side and the new Tatcha primer on the right side of my face. So even though I've used this 3 times, I've still kept it in its packaging, and this is what the packaging looks like. And I got this in the colour 3N. I've got one other Dior foundation, the Backstage one, and I got that in 3N as well, and that colour seems to suit me really well. So inside it is a glass bottle with a lovely cream cap and then the Christian Dior logo on the top of the cap there. This has 30 mils of product and it is a pump style foundation. I've had to use 2 or 3 pumps to get the coverage that I need. So on the Sephora website, it describes this foundation as new longwear and lightweight foundation by Dior. Is 96% composed of ingredients from natural origin, delivering 24-hour wear and hydration. It also improves the quality of the skin day after day. So I decided to get it initially because it did say it had 24-hour wear, so I thought it was more of a long wear foundation. And also when I have worn this foundation, I have set it down with Hourglass setting powder. So today I will use the setting powder again just on the left side of my face, but I'm not going to on the right side of my face because I'd like to see how this wears without it having to be set down, because it is quite a glowy, dewy looking foundation, which I've never really bought before. So I sort of find that quite interesting, but it does have a beautiful finish. So this is the Hourglass primer I use, the Hourglass Veil Mineral Primer that's oil free. So I'm just going to put a tiny bit on, since I'm only going to put this on the left side of my face. So this is one I've been using for quite a long time now, and I've found it goes really well with foundations. But I decided to try another primer, and I'm quite liking the Tatcha one as well. So normally I just put it just over my cheeks here, but down the nose and a little bit on the forehead. Then I'm going to take the Tatcha one, the Liquid Silk Canvas. I only got this just a few days ago in a luxury haul that I did, and I've already posted that video of this and the other products I got. I actually put probably a little bit too much on my finger, but I'll put that on the right side of my face, and I just sort of press primers in because I don't want to disturb the sunscreen that I have on my skin. So I'm just going to let that set down for about a minute or 2, and then I'll put the foundation on. So I'm going to put about 2.5 pumps on my hand. I'm going to use the BK Beauty 101 brush and do the left side of my face first. So this is the side that I have the Hourglass primer on. It is different to any other foundation that I've tried before, and with a brush I would say it gives a strong medium finish, if not leaning towards almost full coverage. And as I've said before in other foundation reviews that I've done, when I use the brush I tend to stipple my foundation in instead of swiping down. I think this helps with covering any sort of enlarged pores that you have. You can see this foundation does cover my redness. You can see with the foundation that it gives a glowy, dewy finish, and that doesn't really go away. And that's why, because the last 3 days that I've been wearing it, I've set it down with powder, and then for me I think that gives a really beautiful look. And I will set the side down with my Hourglass translucent powder that I have been using for the last 3 days. But now I'm going to go in the right side with my Beauty Blender, and that's the side also that I'm not going to set down. And I don't think I showed you the consistency of the foundation earlier. So it is quite thick, it's not runny at all. It just sits on your hand. So I've got my dampened Beauty Blender and I'm going to apply that. As I said, I haven't used a Beauty Blender with this foundation yet. I just used the brush and I really like that finish, so I didn't really change it, but I'll be interested to see how it goes with the Beauty Blender. This foundation does have a fragrance, but it's a very light, subtle, floral type of fragrance, and I can't even smell it anymore now. But if fragrance is an issue for you in foundations, then you probably won't want to try this one. But if a fragrance doesn't bother you, then this will be absolutely fine. And as I said, it is very, very subtle, and I can't even really smell the fragrance now. So that's the right side of my face done with the Beauty Blender. And I don't know whether you can tell, but it doesn't give quite as good coverage as I got with the BK Beauty foundation brush. But if you want a more sheerer sort of coverage, then a Beauty Blender would be the way to go. And if you're not used to a more sort of dewy finish foundation, like I wasn't used to either until I tried this one, it does feel like it needs setting down. But I also know there's people that like that dewy finish, and this does give a beautiful finish for that. It also looks really lovely on the skin. It's not settling into any lines or wrinkles that I have at the moment, and I found when I wore it over those last 3 days it didn't settle into lines or wrinkles either. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do my eyebrows and put my corrector and concealer on, and also my eyeshadow primer, and then I'm going to come back and just set down the left side of my face with the Hourglass powder, but I'm going to leave the right side unpowdered. So I've done my eyebrows and put my eyeshadow primer on, and I've also put corrector and concealer under my eyes, and I've also set both of my under eyes with some powder as well, a Charlotte Tilbury one. But for the left side of my face, that's I'm only going to set that side, I'm going to use the Hourglass Veil Translucent Setting Powder, and I'm going to also use the Sonia G Face 1 brush to do that. And I'm going to buff that in. So that's the left side of my face powdered, and it just feels absolutely beautiful. And I have noticed the last couple of days that I've been wearing it, that even though once it's first set down with powder, it can look a little bit matte, just like with any other foundations I wear. Because of my oily skin, in about half an hour or an hour, just the oils just start to creep through a bit, and then gives a nice, really subtle glow to the skin, but doesn't look overly oily. This side, I desperately want to put powder on it, but I'm not going to because I just want to see how that wears during the day without it, and how my oily skin reacts with the foundation, that it's not set down either. But as I said, because I've already worn this for the last 3 days, I know it is a beautiful foundation and it does wear really well. But what I'll do, if I get time, I will come back later this evening and give an update as to how each side wore, and whether I think you really need a setting powder or not with oily skin. If I don't get time to do that, I will pin a comment below when I upload this video and let you know how the different sides got on. So now I'm going to put on the rest of my makeup. So this is the final look with the Dior Natural Nude Foundation. I still haven't powdered on the right side of my face, and the one where I've powdered, as you'd expect, feels lovely and smooth. My oils have started to come through a bit, but it still looks really beautiful. On this side, it has set down a little bit more than I would have expected, and it actually feels quite nice. At the moment, there is a hair there. It's an eyelash. I can't afford to lose eyelashes. So at the moment, you really can't tell any difference where I've set the powder and where I haven't. I'm sort of a little bit shiny through here, but just like I was the other couple of days, wore this foundation and set it down with powder. So it's going to be really interesting, especially to see how this side lasts throughout the day. But overall, I really like this foundation. I think the 3N colour that I got is a really good match. As I said, this doesn't settle into my lines and wrinkles. It has great skincare ingredients, which is really, really lovely. And it's the first time I've worn a dewy finished sort of foundation, and I really, really like it. This doesn't feel heavy on the skin. It doesn't cake or move around during the day. Although with the moving around, I'll be interested to see whether this does happen on the side that isn't powdered. But as I said, the other thing about this foundation is that it is cooler here now in New Zealand. It's not cold enough to wear jumpers here, but definitely haven't got the humidity that we had in summer. So that's probably why I can get away with wearing this type of foundation. So I will have to note it down and do a review on this foundation again in the summertime. If I get time today, I will pop back in later tonight and give an update to how it wore. But if I don't get a chance to do that, I will give an update. I'll pin a comment once I've uploaded this video, and I'll let you know how the different sides wore and if it made any difference with the setting powder or not. But at this stage, I think it's a really, really beautiful foundation. So that's it for today's video. I hope you liked it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time. Bye.